Hi guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the book and the movie The Glass Castle, which is going to be a very interesting discussion because this was actually a memoir, so it is a true story. So I'm going to tell you some facts about the book, some facts about the movie, some similarities and differences between the two, and then I'm going to tell you which one that I thought was better. And I also have a really good interview for you guys to listen to as well. So let's get started with some facts about the book. The book was published in 2005 by author Jeanette Walls. And as I said earlier, this is her memoir of her and her siblings and their journey throughout life. They live a crazy journey, they're poor, they're always moving from one place to another to escape from having to pay taxes or their parents being arrested. So it's a very interesting, very crazy true story. An interesting fact about this book is that it was a #1 bestseller on the New York Times list for over 6 years. So this was a hit when it first came out, and it continued to be so for a very long time, and to this day it's still a very popular novel. The movie was released recently in 2017, and it features many known actors and actresses, some of which are Brie Larson, Naomi Watts, and of course Woody Harrelson, who we saw in one of our earlier movie discussions, The Hunger Games. This film was actually received with mixed reviews. A lot of people critiqued it, saying that the true story wasn't portrayed as emotionally as it should have been and as it was shown in the book. Alright, so for some similarities. The movie does very good with going along the main plot line of the book. It features the main character, of course, Jeanette Walls. It shows everything mostly from her point of view, and it shows the different things that happen to her family. The movie did a good job of portraying some of the different aspects that happened to them. For example, they didn't have money a lot, so the children faced starvation a lot. And the movie included the scene where the youngest daughter was starving. She was hungry, so they had to make a meal out of butter and sugar. And it just really drove the point home that these children were starving. It showed to the extremity just how Jeanette and her siblings lived their lives. Another thing that I really liked that the movie included was Christmas time came, and there was, of course, no money for presents. So instead of giving a traditional gift, the father gifted each child. He let them pick out their own star out of the sky, and he gave them that star. Another thing that the movie included that I was really happy to see was for Jeanette's birthday, she wants her dad to give up drinking, and he does so attempt, and he chains himself to the bed and locks himself in a room, and he refuses anybody to come and help them. And the movie did a really good job of portraying that. It showed him struggling, it showed him tied up on the bed, it showed him begging them to let him go, and they didn't. So I thought the movie did a really good job with that scene. Alright, as for the differences. The first difference that I noticed when I watched the movie is the movie had way more flashbacks than the book did. When the book written, it started out with Jeanette as a grown woman, and then it went into her story of her childhood. And from there, it was pretty much storyline sequence until she was grown. The movie was focused more mainly on adult Jeanette, and it had flashbacks continuously throughout her adult life to times in her past when she was little. So the movie had a lot more flashbacks in it than the book did. Another difference is the movie left out the whole part where they mentioned Grandma Smith, which was the grandmother on Jeanette's mother's side, and how she died and left them a large piece of land with a house on it, and they actually went and lived in that house for a good bit of time. And this was not really mentioned at all in the movie. The only mention was of her dying, and they left them a piece of land. In the book, it goes into more detail about how much Jeanette and her siblings loved the grandmother, how good she was to the children, about the house that they left, and all the memories and things that they did in that house. And it just was not mentioned whatsoever in the movie. And another thing that was left out in the movie was the mother at one point in time did get a job as a teacher, and that was left out of the movie as well. And I really hate that it was left out because it showed, I think, a different aspect to the mother's life, because you see her being a poor teacher because she doesn't believe in the same beliefs that the school system does, and it gives you that different aspect of point of view that you really don't see in the movie. All right, so now that I've told you what I think about the similarities and differences, here's an interview for you guys to enjoy. Alright guys, so today I have Cindy here with me, and she's going to interview with me for The Glass Castle. I'm going to ask you just a few questions about the book and the movie, and then I just want to get your opinion on which one that you liked better.
Okay.
Alright, so for your first question, do you think that the movie portrayed the struggles that the Walls family went through in the book as accurately as it was described in the book?
No, the book was much better, much more detailed.
Okay, so there was a huge controversy when the movie first came out, saying that the cast did not play the characters of the book as well as they should have. Do you think that the cast played the characteristics of Jeanette and her siblings and her parents as well as they could have?
Yes, I didn't have an issue with the characters that were in the movie. Of course, the movie was not as good as it could have been, or definitely not as good as the book.
Okay, well, if you had to pick one that you would say you liked better, which one would it be?
Definitely the book.
All right, I have to agree with you on that one. Well, thank you for your time and your opinion. All right, so now that you've heard what Cindy has to think about the Glass Castle and her opinion on which one is better, I'm going to tell you mine. So although I think the movie did a decent job of trying to keep up with the book, I definitely have to say that the book was better. The movie just was not on par with the book. It did not go to the extremity that the book did. It left out a whole lot that was in the book, and you really just cannot capture exactly what Jeanette Walls and her family went through unless you read this book. It was excellent. I hope everybody reads it. And the movie was really good, but it was just nothing like reading the book. So what did you guys think? Did you guys like the movie a little bit better than I did? Have you guys read the book? And I'll see you guys next time where we will be discussing The Green Mile.